Hello everyone, this is Jeff. Hey, we're working on a Subaru today. No Ferraris, no Lamborghinis. But this guy's a customer of mine. He has a Ferrari. So we're going to work on his Outback today. So this is a 2019 Outback. We're going to do the CVT and the differential fluids in the front. They're two separate fluids. They're next to each other. It gets confusing. So we're going to do both of those and some other stuff on this today, and we'll record all of it. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go underneath here, and we're going to drain the transmission fluid, the CVT. So the drain is right here. We're not changing the filter. And then the service port is right here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start draining it, and then go through the procedure on servicing it. To service this, you're going to have the car running and heat it up. I'll get to the specifics later. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to drain this. And then, like I said, we're going to take this out also. This is the service port. Hey, what fluid are you using in this?
Where's your CVT fluid stuff?
All right, so we're going to use this Valvoline CVT fluid here. Like I said, it's full synthetic. This is what the customer supplied us with this. So this is what we're going to use. I don't know what the recommended fluid is, but this is what we're going to use. So let's get started. So we've got the CVT here draining. What size plug was this, Mark?
That's a 15.
That's a 15 millimeter. So we've got this draining. This actually looked pretty clean. Yeah, that fluid looked pretty clean. Doug says he bought this car new. The oil looked never been changed, 100,000 miles. Looked fairly clean. So we'll see how it goes. Now we're going to pull. We probably should pull this first, the side plug here, just to vent it better. But now we're going to pull that out and see what goes on. All right, so here we've got the side plug out. Like I said, we're almost done draining here. We'll let that drain for a couple more minutes, wipe it up, clean it up, and then reinstall, and then start servicing the fluid back in it. So like I said, we're going to go ahead, put fluid in it, and then when the fluid gets up here, we'll start it. It'll run out, and then once it comes to a trickle, we'll put the plug in. So that's how you service that. We've let this drain for a while. We did a few other things. We've got this plug back in now, torqued up. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and service the fluid through the side here, in this port right here. As you can see the position of it, this is on the driver's side here, okay? Next to this plug here, there's an electrical plug right here. So it's right adjacent to it. So it's on the driver's side here, all right? So this is the one you want to take out. And then we're going to go ahead and service it through here. And then,
here's what it looks like.
And this is what it looks like. This was a what kind of size torque?
M8. I want to say M8. Allen. Was that an Allen?
Yeah, it's an Allen. I'm sorry.
I think it was M8.
So that's the plug that goes in there. We're going to start servicing it here. So we've got our setup here. We've got like a little pressure sprayer here that we've used to put the fluid in there. We pressurize. We just pump this. It pressurizes the tank and then forces the fluid into the transmission. So this is what we're using. You can buy these at Home Depot, as a matter of fact. Yeah. So it works pretty well. So all you have to do is screw the top off, put your fluid in there, give it some pumps. The only thing you may have to do is hold the hose on there. The hose may want to pop off, but it works great for this. So this is what we're using. We're going to continue to install the fluid at this time. So we've put our second container in here. I don't know what the quantity is on this jug here is, but we've almost, is that a gallon? So we've almost put a gallon in. It did start running out of here, so we did put the cap on. So the next thing we're going to have to do is start the car and let it run and get up to temperature. And then pull that cap back out and let the fluid run out of there until it comes to a trickle or just barely coming out. So that's at the point where we're at. All right, so we've got this transmission running right now. The car's running. We get the fluid in there. I'm going to pull the plug out. It's at 96 degrees. So we're going to take this out, and it should come out, and you want to trickle. So you can see the fluid coming out now. We're going to let it flow a little while until it really almost stops. Okay. All right, we're going to call that good right now. We're going to go ahead and stick this back in. And then torque that back up, and that should be good. All right, so we're running this car at idle right now, and like I said, we're checking the fluid. We've got the temp on the transmission to 109. Okay, so that's about in our range that we need. So we're going to go back down, check the oil level again, and if it's at a trickle or barely flowing out, we should be good. All right. So let's go back down here. We'll pull this plug out here and see if we have a little trickle. If it's just a trickle, we should be good. All right, we'll let that run a little bit. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put the plug back in and call it good. It's gonna vary how level your car is. Also, I mean, you want to do this with the most level it can be, but the attitude of the car will make a difference. So you want to do this when it's level. So I'm gonna go ahead and torque this up now, clean this up. So that portion is done. The CVT has been serviced. We're gonna go ahead and shut it off and then get it ready to drain some other fluids. All right. All right, so the next thing we're going to do on this is we're going to change the differential gear oil. We're going to use a Valvoline 7590 weight in it. So there's the oil we're going to use. Not this. This is for the CVT. So right here. And then there's a plug here that you need to remove here. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's right up there by the axle, where the CV joint boot there's a plug that's open. That's where you're going to service it. So you got to remove that plug right there for servicing it, and then we're going to remove this plug here for the drain. This is Diff oil. And then you're going to service it through the check. So there's a standpipe in this, I believe. So you're going to install fluid until the oil comes out of here. All right, so this is the drain. You're going to check the quantity by here, this one here, and then you're going to service it. You see your axle here? The plug is up the upper left corner. So I showed you from the other angle behind the wheel there. It's kind of difficult to see, but that's where you're going to go ahead and service it. All right? Just right up next to this axle on the passenger side. So we took the servicing plug out from the top. This is the drain plug, okay? So we've got this loose here now. We're going to go ahead and drain the fluid from here. Hopefully without making too much of a mess. I'm going to have to put this down. So I get out of the way here. All right, so we've got the drain plug out now. You can see it's draining there. So while it's draining, we're going to look at this plug here. It's got a magnet on it. You may have a little bit of stuff on it. This isn't really too bad. You get normal wear and tear. There is a crush washer on this too. So you're going to clean this up, reinstall this with a new washer, and then we're going to take the other plug out. So when we service it, we can see the proper level through it. So we're going to clean this up. Like I said, let it finish draining here, which it's almost done, and then reinstall this. Right, so we've got our drain plug back in, and now we're going to take our servicing plug out here, or not servicing, actually they call it the check plug. So we're going to go ahead and take this plug out here, which is called the check plug. This is where you got to check your quantity. Also, it has a standpipe in there, so that's what we're going to remove next. We've got this plug out finally now. I don't know what size that was. I can tell you here in a second. That is, if I can read, there's no size on that. I'll have to figure out what size it is for you guys later on. It's the same one as the other plug. The servicing port's the same size. So this is your servicing plug there. There's your check plug there. Like I said, the drain plug's installed. So we're going to go ahead and next get set up so we can get servicing this thing. So we've cleaned our reservoir out. We're going to use this again to service the differential. So I'm going to take the gear oil here, the 75 W90, and pour it into here. I'll probably end up pouring a couple of them into that. Like I said, I did clean this container out, so we're not mixing fluids. All right, there's one. And then there's the second one. I'll put this down. All right, so we've got our fluid in here. Our thing is ready here. We're going to go ahead and take underneath the car here and install our servicing tube into the proper hole. All right. Put that there. Take our tube here, clean it out yet, and then we'll install it. So I got my tube in there. I haven't hooked it up to the bottle yet, but you can see, like I said, it's going into the side there. It's just above and aft of where your axle comes out for your right tire. So that's the plug you want to remove, and that's the plug we're going to install the fluid, and we're going to pump fluid into it until it comes out of this port here, which is the check. All right? So we're going to hook our thing up here and then start pumping fluid into it. All right? So we're just going to...
Hold on, Jeff. Let me, are you still on the...
Yeah.
Good. A little more fun because the show's going to be a lot thicker.
All right, so we're installing the fluid now into the differential. You can see the fluid going up. And then we're going to watch for it to come out right above Mark's hand here, somewhere in this area. This is where the drain's at.
I hope we're getting a pretty view of me.
Oh, yeah. So as you can see here, we've almost got whatever the size of this is. And you can see
it's probably 2 quarts. It's 1.75 liters.
So
56 ounces.
You can see the fluid is running out now. We're not pumping any more in. We've got the trigger off here. So we're going to let that run until it comes to a drip, basically. All right? And that's once that stops, we'll go ahead and stick the plug back in. We'll stick both plugs back in because this is not like the transmission where you have to heat it up It's just you stick it in until the fluid runs out, and then once it stops, you're good. This is barely dripping here. We're going to go ahead and stick the plug in and tighten it up, and then we're going to go ahead and stick the upper plug in where we serviced it. So we're going to stick those both in and torque them up. So I left the extension and the socket on where the service port is. So you can see it going inside there by the drive shaft, just aft and upper left. So that's the servicing port. So we've got that torqued up. We've got both plugs on the bottom installed now. So we're finishing up front, and then we're going to go to the back and drain and service the rear differential. The rear differential now, we're going to drain it from here, service it from there. What size is this? Do you know?
I don't.
This is a 10.
10.
How about that? So we're going to use a 10 on that, 10 on the top.
First.
So we're going to break those loose and service it. Got both plugs out, and they're different. So the bottom one has a magnet in it. So when you're going back together, make sure the magnet is installed in the bottom plug.
There's the top one.
And here's the top one, okay? So they're the same size.
They physically look the same.
Yeah, physically look the same from the outside, but the bottom one has a magnet. All right? So a little bit of fuzz is all right. I mean, this car has 100,000 miles, never been changed. So I would say this is really good. Now, if you got bigger pieces or slivers or something like that, you may have an issue, but this is looking pretty good. The drain plug back in. We've got the servicing hose in the top port. We've got our fluid in the jug there, and we're going to pressurize this and hopefully service it until it runs out the top. And then once it starts running out the top, that's it. That completes that. So we've serviced it. Fluid was running out of here. We've secured the caps here. So that completes the differential fluid change on the front and the rear. So what now we're going to do is we're going to change the coolant. We're going to drain the coolant up front and service it. So we're going to go and do that. All right, so we're up here by the radiator. We're on the passenger side here. As you can see, there's a drain plug with a little spigot on it right there. We're going to go ahead and open that up. If you have one, you can stick a tube on there and let it drain out into your whatever reservoir or whatever you want to catch into a bucket. So we're going to go ahead and crack that open, get this drained so we can service it. Before we start draining this, we remove the cap on top just to let it bleed a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and raise this back up and start draining the coolant. We've got our hose hooked up. We're draining the fluid. Try not to make a mess. So we'll let this run for a little while and until it stops draining. So we've got our fluid drained. We've got our drain thing closed here, pitcock, whatever you want to call that thing, it's closed. So we're going to go ahead and lower the car and then get set up to install this fluid. So we've lowered the car. We've got this coolant system bleeder, or it's not a bleeder, it actually pulls a vacuum on the coolant system. And this is how we're going to install the fluid. First, we're going to pull a vacuum on it, let it sit for a few minutes. We're going to check the integrity of the system. We'll see if it drops or not.
Maybe that won't work. Probably have to hold.
All right, so like I said, we've got this tool hooked up, and we've got our new fluid in the bucket here. Make sure you have a clean bucket, and make sure that the end of the tube stays submerged. All right, and then we're going to pull a vacuum on this system first, though. We're going to hook an air source up to it. We're going to pull it to about 25 inches of mercury here, approximately. Let it stabilize, close the valve, and watch and check for leaks. So we're going to do that right now. So we're drawing a vacuum on it, and you can see right now, and like I said, it'll stall out approximately about 25 inches there, give or take a few. I mean, and then once it stalls out, we'll shut the valve. Make sure you have the other valve closed too when you're using this. And then we're going to check for leaks. Just make sure you have a good seal down here at the bottom. That will create a leak. So we'll see what happens here.
You're on the money now, brother.
So like we're going to let it sit there for a little bit longer. Like I said, normally it's about 25 on most vehicles.
By definition.
So we've shut it off, and initially it may drop a little bit, but it should stabilize. And then once it stabilizes, just watch it, maybe spend maybe a couple minutes, see if it drops at all. But it should, like I said, shouldn't move after it stabilizes initially, which it only takes like a second or so to stabilize. After that, if it starts dropping, check for leaks. But anyway, that's where we're at, and we'll let it sit for a minute or two. In a few minutes, we're still at 25, so it tells us the system is tight. I wouldn't be concerned for any leaks at this time. And so we're going to go ahead and crack this other valve here and start drawing in the fluid. But like when you said you're doing this, you want to make sure that the end of the hose stays submerged. So if you start running out of fluid, you can shut this valve and resurface your bucket with fluid. I mean, it doesn't matter, but just don't let it rise out of the water or out of the coolant while you're servicing it, because it'll introduce air into it, and then you'll have to draw a vacuum back on it. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. All right, and you'll start seeing the fluid get drawn in.
Crack it. There you go.
There it is. And then naturally you'll see as the fluid gets pulled in, the gauge will rise.
Actually, it lowers.
Or lowers.
It lowers on the vacuum.
So reduces the vacuum pressure as you introduce the fluid.
There you go.
How about that for version?
Less negative pressure.
Less negative pressure. Let's correct myself. But anyway, we're going to open this up a little bit further. And if this works out correctly, when this reaches zero, the system should be fully serviced. So the way this works is it takes all the air out of the system, and then hopefully we won't have to bleed this. This should take out the steps of bleeding.
We have never bled yet with this system.
Yes, we've used this system on multiple vehicles, and it's always worked out perfectly. So we're going to continue on here and see what goes on. All right, so we've reached zero now. We have extra fluid here. So when we pull this out, we should have enough fluid in there, and it should be fully serviced. So we've got it's serviced up. Put the cap back on. We put a little fluid in the expansion tank here. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start the car, check for any leaks, and then put the under tray back on, and then we're done. So anyway, we're going to check the coolant system here real quick. Just make sure we don't have any oil leaks or coolant leaks in that. We're going to go ahead and run the temp all the way up with the fan as high as it'll go. And we're going to go ahead and check our quantity in our reservoir and make sure that our temperature is in range for our coolant. So we're going to let it sit here and idle for a little bit and monitor all that and verify our quantities in that and the temperature. But max hot and fan speed max. All right. So we've got here, we're checking our temperature here on our the coolant's on top, oil temps on the bottom here. So we're using the scanner to read those. We're checking our for any leaks and that. There's our drain. It's nice and dry. So we're going to go ahead and put the under tray back on. And like I said, as soon as we get done with this finishes this job on this 2019 Subaru Outback. We're letting it run still. It's up to 145 on the engine coolant, and the oil temp's 147. We've got the under tray on here, so it's back installed. It's ready to go. We're going to go ahead and lower the car back down. You do see some fluid hanging or dripping there. That is air or coolant from the air conditioner. So don't worry about that. That's normal. So that's not engine coolant. That's air conditioning. So we're checking one more time. Everything looks like it's sealed up. All our lids are on. So I don't see any leaks. So we should be good here. Everyone, this completes the service here on the differential coolant system on the 2019 Subaru Outback. And the brakes, we actually did brakes, but we didn't show that. Also, we changed brake pads and bled those, but like I said, we didn't show that. But we did the CVT, the differential oil, the coolant system, bled the coolant system, and that really completes this. So, hey, thanks for watching, and please subscribe, and we'll catch us next time.